And now, the time fight fans all across the globe have been waiting for. It's the MTMV main card with your man, the myth, the legend, the voice. And I just stepped all over the liners, but that's just how I feel today. It's smoke o'clock. I'm too excited, and I can't help myself. But I do have in the opposite corner, my mano e mano, my verbal sparring partner, none other than Philly's finest, Iron Wildress Ruffin.
I'm here, man. I'm here. It's smoke o'clock. It's 7:15. You see me on time. You see voices out here talking before you're supposed to talk about certain things. We ready. We got a great show for y'all. We're going to talk a lot. We're going to cover that Mayweather Gotti brawl, whatever you want to call it. We're going to talk about Amanda Nunes, Bellator 297, and it's Bud Crawford, pound for pound, the best of this generation. Boys, you ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's get into it. Tails on my blow.
Let's go.
All right, so boys, if you got a chance to see the media presser for Crawford Spence, you saw Bud Crawford made a big statement today. Today or yesterday. He stated that with a win over Errol Spence Jr., he would be the best pound-for-pound boxer of this generation. Now, of course, Spence fought back on that and asked questions such as, who did you really fight? And what was your signature fight, of course? I got to get your thoughts on this, boys. What do you think about Bud Crawford's statement? And does he have an argument for being pound-for-pound the best of this generation?
His statement and his claim have validity. They both have, or I should say, yeah, he has validity as far as that's concerned. He said he will be considered the best fighter of this era because no other fighter in this era has been the undisputed champion at two different weight classes. When you come at it from that perspective, you definitely have a claim to that title. As far as who has he fought, well, let's get real. Spence talked about how well top ranked, crafted Crawford's career. Your people had a hand in that because they were trying to get at you and anybody over there for a long time. And y'all been like, no, we good. But out of Spence's own mouth, but get a belt and then we'll fight. Well, he's been a WBO champion for a long time, and well, you on that side of the street, okay? He came off that side of the street and still no fight. So there's blame to be laid on both sides, but you can't fault Crawford. He can only fight those people who his promoter can get to fight. It's all, well, what's your signature win? Destroying the dude who gave you one of the toughest fights that you had in the Leprechaun. Salute to the little black leprechaun, Sean Porter. So yeah, that's my claim to fame. You fought him, I stopped him, as they talked about at the press conference. So yeah. It's wonderful. I love to see all of this flying back and forth. There's another one tomorrow. I can't wait to see what comes out of that. I'm excited.
Now, Bud has kind of been making his media rounds. I mean, he even talked with the $1 million worth of game guys. And in that one, he talked more about Spence. He even talked about a challenge from Bruce Ennis that he says that never came to fruition. So it seems like Bud is kind of on a media tour right now to prove himself. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. There's going to be July 29th. We're definitely going to have that covered. But I love all the talk right now that everybody's doing. I know sometimes it doesn't really come to anything, but it's definitely going to be exciting. Now, moving on from Bud's claims to someone who definitely claims to be the greatest of all time, depending on who you ask. Now, this past weekend, it literally included a number of headline-grabbing events from Mayweather versus Gotti, ending in a brawl when the bout was stopped by referees. Teofimo Lopez returned to the ring to win and retire again, then say he's not coming back for anything less than a $100 did you say $100 million fight?
No, he said I think
It's just
yeah,
about
maybe. I
range.
think he said 9 figures, which was kind of crazy. I think he meant 8.
It was an outlandish number. And then UFC 289 saw a TKO and then another legend calling it quits. Which you covered a lot on Twitter this weekend. I know you were super busy. All your TV was going on. Give us your thoughts on all this past weekend, including the major headlines and the highlights.
As far as everything that happened this weekend, I mean, this show's name was Drama, Drama, and More Drama. And that's because this past weekend produced drama, drama, and more drama. Let's start off with the last fight of the weekend, or at least the last one that got the drama started, which is Mayweather versus Gotti. Exhibition. I wasn't going to watch it anyway because I'm not watching any more of Floyd's exhibitions. It's a waste of my money and my time. Whatever happens that's of note, I can find out about it on social media, which I did. I got everything I need to get from social media. Number one, this fight was on Zeus Network. That lets you know that it's gonna be nothing but drama. And you had it. You had it in the ring. They were fighting. Referee stopped the fight. Then Gotti was like, no, I ain't stopping the fight. And Floyd caught him with something for real, to let him know, look, I was playing with you. Now, if you want to get it for real, you can get it for real. Then, as you, as well as so many people pointed out, like 50, 75, 365 people from the money team swarmed the ring to to ensure that nothing happened to their cash cow. But that wasn't it. You had brawls in the stands. You had Jocelyn getting into it with somebody backstage. Again, this is by Zeus, which she's on that network, and Zeus is known for this kind of drama. So you got what you were supposed to get at this event. The thing that does concern me about it, though, is what is on our screen now. Gotti's either niece or sister or some female in his family is threatening Floyd's daughter. Like, what? It was an exhibition fight. He got whooped. He's gonna go back to fighting MMA. I want to say he's in the PFL. If he's not, then he's on some regional promotion in the Northeast. Life will go on. Why are you threatening people? Talking about some, it's not, may not be 12 months, may not be, 3 years or 2 years, but I'm coming for you. It's uncalled for. Absolutely uncalled for. To me, it sounds like she's trying to get another a fight. I'm sure Zeus will put that on, and then you'll find out. Just disrespectful, absolutely disrespectful. Then you talk about Teofimo Lopez, just fighting like he was the man, and he was, and he had all his swagger back, had everything in place the way that he needed to be in place. And then said all stuff that you said. I'm not gonna repeat it. Just rewind it and hear that. To me, the last statement that he said is what makes it make the most sense. Seems that he's really posturing for the biggest payday that he can get. Sabril Matisse is out there at 140. Rolly is out there at 140. Both of them are under the PBC banner. So I don't see them fighting Teofimo Lopez. I see them fighting each other. The only other person out there right now is Regis Prograis, which we'll talk about him a little later on in the show today. But it is a well-known fact that if he wins, that Matchroom is already angling for a fight between him and Haney. Now that Haney is a free agent, Haney could sign back with Top Rank and fight Teofimo Lopez. That would be a good fight and a big fight. But Teo's got a while before he's going to see anybody of note, which I think is the reason why he's retiring. Let me step back and wait for some stuff to shake out, and then when the time is right, I'll come back into the equation. That's really what I see going on. And on top of that, he's going through a custody battle for his son. Got a lot of stuff going on. He needs a time off. So it's a retirement, but I doubt very seriously that it's a retirement that will stick. Then we talk about, I'm sorry, you look like you got something to say. Go ahead. I
was just going to say, I mean, with Teofimo, I mean, even if he comes back, he's got a number of boxers lined up, ready to go at him. And even Haney, I mean, I know this weekend people showed the Court Stevenson sending over the bottle girls to be like, sign the contract. Yeah. So it's just like everyone is calling everyone out, but you've got a number of different people in front of you first that you need to be able to defend against. And Teofimo, after coming back, I mean, we covered it a couple months ago, from losing his confidence, and now everything is back. You kind of got to be humble about the situation and see what's in front of you first. But
yeah, I mean, but at 140, again, it's not really a lot out there. You got Zepeda out there. You got Zepeda out there who just got done losing to. Lord, who did he lose to? No, it was Ramirez. Ramirez lost to Zepeda. So that's something that could possibly happen. But it's not a whole lot out there, and definitely not a lot to really get him the kind of paydays he's looking for. What's going on, Timeless? Crispy ain't said nothing today, so I don't know if we're going to the turnbuckle or not.
I see houses in there too. Now you mentioned Zepeda. Zepeda actually took that loss to Regis last November for the title. So it's a lot of moving parts. And like I said, we're going to talk about Progress in a moment. And he has his eyes set on Teofimo next. So.
Yes, he does. As far as all the drama that took place this weekend, we would be remiss not to talk about how Do Bronx just made UFC 289 his show. He made it his show by going out there and having a very action-packed, spirited one-round bout with a whole lot of swings and momentum and changes of positions with Dariush, and he said, "Look, I wanna fight again for the title." Dana very rarely talks about next fights the night of the fight, but he said this one makes sense, which it does. Islam's gonna fight in Abu Dhabi. That's in October, 4 months away. Who else is there that's going to be available to fight? So it just makes sense to make this fight. Do Bronx was talking about as he said on this tweet, there are levels to this game, and saying see you soon to Makhachev, who said there are levels to this game. It's like, yeah, there are, but I'm gonna see you, and you're gonna see these new levels that I just got. So I that makes this fight even that much more intriguing, because honestly, they're both only one fight removed from fighting each other. What makes this so interesting is how Do Bronx steamrolled Dariush, a man who was on an 8-fight win streak, and how Volkanovski gave Islam the business in their fight. His aura of invincibility has been brought down a bit, being Islam's, where it looks as if Do Bronx's power level has increased. So yeah, this is gonna be great.
Definitely.
And then go ahead. I'm sorry.
You got to mention the last one. The last one for me was the biggest.
Yeah, I agree, which is why we saved the best for last. The greatest woman of all time in combat sports across the spectrum. Salute to Clarissa, who we talked about, who fought a couple weeks ago. She definitely has claim to being the greatest boxer of all time and the greatest woman boxer currently, but the greatest martial artist female, it's got to be the Lioness, Amanda Nunes. She has been utterly dominant for so long, beating all of the big names. That's what gives it. She beat Ronda Rousey. Though broken, she still beat her. She beat Holly Holm. She beat Misha Tate. She beat Cyborg. And even the loss that she had to Juliana Pena, she got that back and some. Made the first fight look like a fluke. So, yeah, definitely hat goes off to Amanda, greatest woman of all time. And she said DC for life, which means double champ for life. And she is. 145 division is gone in the UFC, and she really leaves a lot of turmoil in her wake, even with the 135 division, because it was so soft. You know, it was like, oh, you know, who's gonna fight her? Who's gonna fight her? Which is another reason, like, man, these women don't have anything for me, so I'm just gonna go do what I do and live my life. I'm good. Number one, Payne was supposed to be in this fight. She wasn't. So they'll definitely put her in for the vacant strap. Against who? Huh?
She made a statement actually about Amanda retiring, and it seemed like it was kind of backhanded, which it was kind of like, you just...
That's Payne. Yeah, her statements are going to be backhanded. Yeah, she was like, you know, I should have rushed the cage and said, no, you're not going to retire. You're going to fight me, you know, but my coaches held me back. It's like, and they probably did. But, I mean, the Amanda that we saw on Saturday is going to smash you just like the Amanda we saw who smashed you the last time. She'll probably be fighting, she being Pena, will more than likely be fighting Raquel Pennington, who was the backup fighter for this one for the vacant title. I can see them making that probably as soon as August or September. So we'll see, you know, what happens and when it all happens. But salute to the Lioness. Like I said, in her wake, she leaves a lot of stuff up in the air and just took out a whole division in the UFC.
Definitely. Congratulations to one of the greatest to ever step in a cage. Hearing that next, you may possibly be looking at a deal with WWE, so you might as well come on over and get right there. Because
somebody, or it's a number of fighters that are in the WWE, and yeah, I'm gonna leave that turnbuckle to you and Crispy.
Awesome. And we're going to take a real quick break with a break for our sponsor, Ozell. We come back to WBC. Reggie Prograis, he's literally looking to set up his next big fight. Bellator 297, Pitbull versus Pettis. And we get into what's his last words. I had a blank for a moment. We'll be right back.
It's not just about the love of the game. It's about dedication and commitment through the process and the patience to endure. There's joy in reaching your goals and peace in knowing you've done all you're supposed to do. Ozell brand. It's not just a brand, it's a lifestyle.
Some major shout out to our sponsor, Ozell brand. Some amazing shoes. You got football coming up soon. Make sure you get your cleats, and you can get them in a couple different colors. They're also at Walmart now. So shout out to the brand, definitely growing big. Make sure you go out and support. Now, Voice, Reggie Prograis returns to the ring for the first time since winning the vacant WBC light welterweight title last November, which he won against Jose Zepeda when he defeated when he actually defeated him, and now he's actually going to be fighting in his own backyard this Saturday, June 17th at the Smoothie King Center in New Orleans Arena. He's going to be actually fighting Danilito Zorrillo, who is a late replacement for Leah Palm, which he was recently a late pull due to injury. So Regis is actually hoping to face Teofimo Lopez, which is actually scheduled to happen if he can actually pull it out, is from what I'm hearing. I don't know how true that is. Now, Regis recently stated, I'm glad that Zorilla has taken the fight. Nothing's changed for me, and I'm still working hard to go out there and prove that I'm the best fighter in the world at 140 pounds. I'll go out, do my thing, show out for my city, and defend my title with pride. I'm sad that Liam had to pull out, but we do have a great replacement. Now, Zorilla he's literally looking at this as a major opportunity. He said that I'm ready to be a world champion. I'm grateful for being given the opportunity, but on June 17th, there will be a new world champion. I've been watching Regis for a long time, and I know his style. I know I have the talent and ability to win by any means. This world will know who Zorilla is. Boys, now, I understand late scratches sometimes can set up major upsets. We've seen it a number of times. But in this instance, it kind of looks like almost Zorilla might be a little bit overwhelmed, because Regis is coming in, he's focused, he's on a winning streak, and he looks like he has a plan to be a major world champion moving forward. What are your thoughts on his statements, and what are your thoughts on Zorilla's statements also?
As far as Regis' statements, he's coming home. He has his eyes set on bigger things. This is just a stepping stone for him, as it should be. This is his first fight under the Matchroom umbrella. He's fought on DAZN before when he was fighting for the World Boxing Super Series, or when he was a part of the World Boxing Super Series. That was on DAZN. So, it's a platform that he is familiar with. And it's a platform that he has done well on in the past. He's talked about being at home and how much he loves being at home. He even had a run where he was like, hey, yeah, I got to do my road work anyway. So come on out and run with me. And this is the first time since 2018 or 19 that he's fought at home, being New Orleans. He doesn't even live at home anymore. He lives in Houston since Hurricane Katrina and all that. But he's happy to be home. He's ready to put on for his city. He's been really lifting the spirits of the city. And I salute Zorilla for stepping up. And he's saying, hey, look, this is my fight. This is it. This is everything that I have been working for and everything that I've been waiting for. Has he lost in the past? Yeah. When he has fought good opponents, he has lost in the past, but you don't know what can happen. I'm in the mind of, or I should say, I'm reminded of when Tyson fought Buster Douglas, although this is a bit different. Buster Douglas wasn't a late notice replacement. And I really can't think of a situation in boxing where late notice replacements have won it all. In fight, yes. Or in fights, I should say, yes. It was a star-making performance for someone who we'll be talking about in a couple months, who has a huge fight coming up, being none other than Nathan Donald Diaz. So when he stepped in last minute and fought Conor McGregor, that launched him into superstardom because he was able to make the most out of that situation. And I see Zorilla coming in trying to do that again. I can't think of someone in boxing who has stepped in last minute and won it all, been a Rocky kind of situation. But there's been history made this week already. No other ABA team outside of the Spurs had won a championship since the ABA and the NBA got together. Winning a championship in your first championship appearance. All of that history has been made. So anything is possible in sports. Probable? Not so much. Possible? Yes. Now, Pro Grave was talking about some stuff with Teo. as I stated, it's not even a well-kept secret. Out of Progray's promoter's mouth, we're talking to Haney. He'll be there at the fight. He wants to fight. I think that'd be a good fight. If Progray wins, that's the fight we're going to try to make. So you can talk about Teo all you want. Teo's retired, and he's not going to fight anytime soon. So again, Haney is who I see him facing if he is successful. If he is successful, then I think they run it back.
So, of course, I mean, when you have a big fish like Haney there, and it's not to say that Teofimo's not, why do you think he's so focused on Teofimo instead of Haney when that would be a major opportunity also?
I think the same reason that Teofimo talked about I'm retired. It is public negotiations. If he's saying I really want to fight this person versus fighting someone that's being talked about, he may be able to, squeeze an extra dollar or some other stuff out of the promoter to make that fight happen because he doesn't seem as interested in that one.
Okay. We'll definitely be sure to stay tuned. That's going to be Saturday, June 17th. It's going to be in New Orleans, Louisiana, and live worldwide on the Zone. Moving forward, Patricio Pitbull looks to make history Friday. He's one of my favorites. He's looking to make history Friday at Bellator 297 when he's going to be attempting to actually become the first fighter in a major MMA promotion to win belts in 3 weight classes. Now, the current 3-time Bellator featherweight champion is going to be facing off with Sergio Pettis for the bantamweight belt in Wintrust Arena. Now, despite the possibility of making history, Pitbull still does not feel that he received the respect and credit that he deserved because he fights in the Bellator. He recently stated on the Tasio Sponsor podcast, I stopped thinking about that a long time ago. I have a lot of submissions, a lot of knockouts, and I've been fighting overseas since 2010. I was never the submission of the year. I was never knockout of the year or the athlete of the year. I think the media has been ignoring me for a bit, but my results don't depend on what the media thinks. I don't understand the resistance against the great fighters we have in Bellator, but it's getting really hard for them to hide. He said it is hard to hide Fedor, who ended his career in Bellator. It's hard to hide Chris Cyborg, the greatest of all time. There's Amanda Nunes. I have a ton of respect for her. She's my friend, a double champion, and she beat Chris. But the career as a whole, Chris was the greatest. He said, I'm making noise too with the numbers and records and belts and maybe another one. So it's hard to tell the story of MMA without talking about it. Now on the other side, Sergio Pettis, who hasn't fought since Bellator 272, is the champ. And he feels like he's being overlooked. Stated that he's actually the underdog and some would consider him to be the pound for, someone would consider Pitbull to be the pound for pound GOAT. And he understands that, but he doesn't want to be overlooked either. He said a lot of people do overlook me, and I've been the underdog for most of my career. It's something I've gotten used to, especially coming into this fight. I'm coming off an injury, so I'm sure there's going to be a lot of underdog play that goes into it. That's what I'm pushing for, and I believe I have the skill set to go out there and compete against Pitbull and come out successful. His final statement, he said, throw me right in the deep end with the shark, and I'm excited to show you guys I'm a shark as well. I can swim, and I hope he's overlooking me because I want to look over him when I'm done with this fight. Boys, they're both coming in with where it looks like chips on their shoulders. Of course, I mean, the statements by Pitbull, you can say they are accurate. You even stated previously that Bellator is kind of the little brother almost to UFC. What are your thoughts on both of those gentlemen's statements? And who truly needs the victory here to get the respect they deserve?
As far as their statements are concerned, I think Pitbull has a lot of validity to what he has to say. He is overlooked because it's in Bellator, but guess what? Everyone who is in an organization or on a side of the street that the majority does not respect as much, they get overlooked. You know, they get the what's name. We just talked about Spence Crawford and how Spence and many of the people who back Spence look at Crawford and look at his resume. Oh, you know, well, you just fought these people, you know, whatever. You haven't fought anyone. It's the same thing here. Now, granted, Bellator has killers, absolute killers, all the way across the board. And Pitbull has been the face of Bellator for quite some time. You know, he took over that position from Michael Chandler and continues to wave the Bellator flag everywhere that he goes. And he's right. Let him win this, and he needs to be in your GOAT conversation. He really does. You won championship at lightweight. You have been the featherweight king forever. Even came back and beat the up-and-comer in AJ the Mercenary McKee. Oh, then you drop down a whole nother weight class and beat arguably the best bantamweight out there today in Sergio Pettis, because Sergio does have a claim to that. Like, if he fought Aljamain Sterling today, I can't say that Aljo is like that's a walk in the park for Aljo, because it's not. You know, he definitely could beat him. The last person that Aljo fought, you know, and who gave him a decent fight was what's Big Head's name? I'm sorry. What's in my head comes out of my mouth, unfortunately. And when I think of Triple C, I think, man, that guy's got a big head. But yeah, Triple C, Cejudo. Yeah, Pettis beat him back in the day. Easily defeated him back in the day. Not when he was older, when Aljo faced him. So, yeah, he should, if he's able to win, be in your GOAT conversation. Now, you ask about the statements. That's the statements, and then you ask another question. What was the other question?
They both come with chips on their shoulders. Who do you feel like needs to win more to get the most respect that they're wanting?
That's really hard to say. They both have fairly much cemented their legacies. I think just overall, from the perspective, as I shared before, that Pettis has a claim to being the best bantamweight out there. If he were to beat the face of Bellator, then you really can't say much else about that. You know, we talk about pound for pound. This is literally pound for pound. You're beating a pound for pound champion in another division at your weight class. That's huge. For Pitbull, again, his legacy is set. If he were to win, though, then that puts him in a whole different conversation. I don't think either of them has more to gain, per se. I think they're both fairly, they both have a lot on the line. With that being said as well, the person who has the most to lose is Pettis. And that's because if he loses, he's no longer champion. Pitbull still has a featherweight belt. That doesn't change. He still goes back to being that champion. He'll face whoever else is up next in the featherweight division. Unless I am mistaken, I believe he's still the featherweight champion. I have to go back and check. Okay,
he's featherweight champion right now.
Okay, because I know he beat McKee. Yeah, just for some reason I feel like he lost. Oh, that's why I was confused. He did lose recently, but he lost when he was fighting in. No, he didn't lose. He gave up his belt, and his brother won his belt, and then lost the belt. I'm getting the pit bulls mixed up. Either way it goes, he's still a champion. So even if he loses, he's still a champion. And even if he doesn't have or didn't have a belt anymore, he still holds the records, like nearly every record that you could hold for Bellator. So he's set again. This will put him in a whole different conversation. But if Pettis loses, yeah, that's not looking good for him.
Definitely. Speaking of records, Pitbull literally comes into the bout well-rounded and a full record holder everywhere. His 7 knockout victories in Bellator featherweight competition are the most in divisional history. When you think about all the featherweight fighters to come through. Pitbull is the melatonin man out there. So
Okay.
Pettis has a lot going. Pettis has a lot going on, and that's one thing that Pitbull said that he's looking forward to do is putting that man to sleep. So yeah. Now on that same card, Vadim Nemkov is having probably the best run of his career, and it has the potential to get bigger. Now the current Bellator lightweight champion is currently on a 10-bout win streak and undefeated since joining Bellator since 2017. Now, Bellator recently rewarded him with a multi-year, multi-fight contract, and he's now going into Bellator 297 against Yoel Romero as the number 2 ranked pound-for-pound fighter behind Pitbull. But the most successful lightweight champion in the promotional history may be looking to wrap that up and head to the land of the heavyweights. Now, when asked about the moves to the heavyweight division, Vadim stated, really, that would be interesting for me because cutting weight is not so easy as before. And also, Valentin
Moldavsky.
His teammate. He lost his last fight, so no one knows when he's going to fight for the title for heavyweight again. Nemkov also told us that when asked about the possibility of pursuing a second title up in the division, so for me, it would be interesting. The answer is yes. The move could be a permanent decision due to the difficulty of constantly cutting weight as a light heavyweight. On top of that, a win over Romero would not be enticing for Vadim because he may be required to have a rematch with the winner of Phil Davis versus Corey Anderson, both fighters that he has defeated. And he said, to be honest, I would prefer someone new, a new challenger, because I fought them both. I won against Phil Davis both times, 3 rounds, 5 rounds. And the last time I fought Corey, I was dominating all the fights. So to say honestly, I would prefer somebody new. So what are your thoughts on literally this bout against Yoel Romero, which I don't want to say he's overlooking, but what are your thoughts on him possibly winning and then literally just going up to the heavyweight division? What happens with that light heavyweight championship, and how much damage can Vadim do in the heavyweight division?
Okay, you gave me like 85 questions, and I don't get down like that. So give me the first one, and then come back.
Okay, so what are your thoughts on him moving up to that heavyweight division? I'll give you the second question.
I love it. I would love to see him do that because the champion there is Ryan Bader. And Nemkov, as well as Moldavsky, have aught against Ryan Bader because Ryan Bader destroyed their coach, Fedor Emelianenko, who looks like he is living his best life. I've never seen Fedor as happy as he is now. The minute he said he was retiring, he's smiling. It's like, Fedor smiles? And I've met and interacted with Fedor on a number of different occasions. I mean, he is the consummate stoic Russian. Like, he doesn't do autographs, or he does the autographs, like no pictures, don't talk to me, don't do anything. Just, I'm here as a statue for you to look at and observe and bask in my glory. It's like, okay. So for him to be smiling and doing all these things, he's putting up bunny ears behind people's heads in pictures. I mean, he is living his best life as a coach. They've all wanted to get back at him. Now, Nemkov did get back at him by just knocking him clean out to win the light heavyweight championship. But to do it again at heavyweight and take the title from him there will be like so wonderful and such a great storyline. What was the next question?
What do you think would happen if he decides to actually move up and vacate that light heavyweight championship?
Well, as I stated, he moves up, he's going to fight Ryan Bader. He vacates the championship. That really opens things up at light heavyweight for Bellator. Whoever wins between Phil Davis and Corey Anderson, they may just be given the title because it's obviously a number one contender's bout, or they may be, slotted in with some of the other light heavyweights. Romero may get another shot. You just don't know who else may move in and move up and get a shot at that title. But it opens things up. I'll say this though, if Nemkov stays there, I would love to see him and Corey Anderson again. Oh yeah, I smashed him. Okay, let's not forget that had he not been honest and said, yes, there was a clash of heads that led to the end of that fight. Oh no, you was losing. Like you was getting ready to get utterly smashed. So did he make some phenomenal changes in his game to overcome things? Absolutely. But let's not act like Corey Anderson wasn't whooping you and that maybe a third shot is the charm for him.
That was the first time, I believe, since probably Geary in 2016 in Rising that we had actually saw Nemkov possibly pacing the mat in that manner. I know he had lost previously, but I think the only one against Geary was actually his only TKO
right.
loss.
And I think that was his only loss. Or if he lost before that. Okay, yeah, it was probably early.
Back to back, but I think the one with Geary was the knockout loss, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So that'll definitely be interesting to see. Nemkov literally has not, like you say, he has not taken a loss since 2016. But Romero has a lot out at stake for him, and there's also that 16-year difference in age that they're also talking about in the media between the two fighters. So that'll be interesting to see. Make sure you tune into that. That's going to be Bellator 297. You already know the voices are going to have that covered. Now, as we close out this week's Combat Sports, UFC fans, we have not forgot about you. Voices' last words. We're going to be closing out with UFC middleweight bout, the headliner. Voice, give us your thoughts on this and tell us exactly what we're going to be looking for. That's going to be UFC on ESPN. Vittori versus, I always butcher this man's name, and I apologize, sir. Kenanizer. I always butcher this man's name, even when I do my study and I'm reading, and then I look at it, I'm like, Kenanizer. I started not even saying his name because I was like, don't even do it. Don't even walk into it. But I'm a journalist, so I gotta accept my defeat.
Hey, well, let me say this: in MMA, in MMA coverage circles, it's not uncommon for us to go with the nickname and go, with the first name. But yeah, it's just it's canon. Like you see the cannon. Yeah. And the shot is near, cannon near. No Z's in the mix. Yeah, I know. But yeah, Vittori and Cannonier, this is really a fight to maintain relevancy. Both have been to the mountaintop when it comes to facing the champion. And in not Cannonier, but in Vittori's case, not only has he faced the champion, but he's faced the number 2 guy forever in Robert Whittaker, and has not fared well in any of those fights. Faced Izzy twice and lost, both of those fights. So again, for both of these fighters, it is a fight for relevancy. It's a fight to stay amongst the top at the divisions. It's a fight to be that gatekeeper, to say whether or not whether or not your efforts are good enough for you to be among the upper echelon at middleweight in the UFC. So that's what's on the line for them is relevancy, the ability to continue to headline and make whatever money that comes along with headlining a card.
Definitely. Shout out to the Killer Gorilla. I should have just went with the man's nickname, but I wanted to say his name, and I always say Canonizer, and there's no Z in there. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us for another great episode of the main card. I'm your man, Will, just the flubberer today. Your man, The Voice. Make sure you follow, like, and subscribe with The Voice on Twitter. That's at The Voice. He always has your best in combat sports. He's always scoring the bouts as he goes along, so you can definitely tune in with him. You can follow me at Mr. Teddy Farrell on all platforms. And make sure you follow the gang, mtmvpn.com. We got great individuals on the website that you can get to know. Some of our writing is also on the website. Get to know the different shows that we have on it. We have everything that you're looking for. And if you're not able to always visit the website or on our YouTube page, follow us on your favorite podcast platform because we're there too. So we're everywhere you need to be. This has been another amazing episode. Thank you all for tuning in with us. Boys, take us out, sir.
In my final words, Costa Zoo's son, Tim Zoo, is fighting Carlos Ocampo on Sunday in Australia. I want to say New Zealand so bad, but I knew that wasn't right. In Australia, and it'll be Saturday night here, stateside. I believe they are fighting for the full WBO title. I want to say that they may have stripped. I feel like they've stripped Charlo of the title because he has not been able to fight at all. Even if it's not the full title, it's at the very least the interim. But I believe this is for the full title, and if he wins, then he has a claim to being one of the best at that division. Something that Charlo has locked up because he was undisputed. There will be dispute after this fight because either Zoo or Campo will be the champion.
Awesome. You have your weekend of combat sports prepared for you. We hope you continue to follow us. Make sure you tune in every Tuesday night, 7:15 Eastern Standard Time for Smoke O'Clock. Thank you for tuning in with us. Voice closes out, sir.
Until next time, fight the good fight.